Hello, hello, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for joining me for your very late but very exciting January 2018 reading. In honor of the new year, Sagittarius, I'm going to do something a little different this month. And the second reading that I give you will be a year ahead forecast. A look at what the past how the past has affected your present, where you look to be heading toward in the future, and most importantly, what you can do to make this the best possible year for yourself. You know, this is empowering tarot. This is not about a future set in stone. The beauty of getting a reading is that if you like where it's going, you can be like, cool, I'm doing things right. I'm heading in the right direction. And if you don't like where it's heading, you can pivot now and change things. Your free will is everything, Sagittarius, eternal student, philosopher of the zodiac. Very, very excited to see what this month and then this year is bringing toward you. But let's zoom in first. Let's zoom in on January 2018 for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. What do they need to know, Spirit? What do they need to know this month for their highest good? Sagittarius. Sagittarius, your cards are flying. And don't worry, Sag, if you haven't been here before, I will pen you down in just 1 second so you can see everything that I am seeing. Sagittarius, January 2018. What do they need to know, Spirit? What do they need to be aware of for their highest good? For their highest good. A lot of wands here, fiery Sagittarius. Sag, sun, moon, and rising. What do they need to know, Spirit? For their highest good. Always for their highest good. What's going on with Sagittarius? What are the themes? What do they need to be aware of for their highest good this month in January? One more, please, for January. Wow. All right. Flew right out like me. Okay. All right, Sag. I see some conflict this month. I see some discussions, and some of them might be like annoyingly, frustratingly kind of circular discussions. So I feel like some of you, there's going to be a question of whether you want to keep looking at the past, going over the past, trying to repair things from the past, or whether you would like to sail onward and upward toward a new future. Now, you've got options. That's a beautiful thing to see. You've got options. You're at kind of a crossroads in January, you know? Is it a new year, a new you, Sag? Or is it new year, old you? You know, and that's neither way is the right way. That is not a judgment. That's what Spirit's talking about, is like, have you broken a paradigm? Or do you feel like you just need to kind of retread old ground and see if there's anything left there for you? No judgment again. That's just what they're saying. And I feel like some of you, you know, these are general readings, Sagittarius, so I get a lot of messages, and some are going to resonate with you. Some may not resonate at all, or they may resonate on a different level than what I'm saying. For example, I could be talking about, you know, what Spirit is showing me here is some crying over spilled milk when it comes to a relationship. Now, for some of you, I'm feeling that's a very natural, like a grieving, like, okay, this is gone. And when I say crying over spilled milk, that is not me trivializing this grief, Sag. It's saying whatever this is, what's done is done. That's what I mean by spilled milk. Not that it's, you know, the same level as like, oh, I spilled my milk, but more like, oh, wow, that person really fucked me over. Damn. And you're still kind of reeling and dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? And for others of you, it's more like obsessive. If I want to be honest, if I want to give it to you straight from Spirit, for some of you, it's like you are kind of trapping yourself with these circular thoughts. This is called the nightmare card. This is anxiety. This is like thoughts keeping you up at night and keeping you from moving forward because you're just like too entangled in your own thoughts to do or be anywhere else. And I feel like you don't want to do that to yourself this month, okay? But the beautiful thing is there are some great remedies for this, and you have some wonderfully positive cards to balance out this kind of stagnation, this stalemate, this burden that some of you are dealing with. But that said, I've said a lot without showing you your cards. Let's come see. Let's see, Sag. Here comes all the face. Yay, cards. Okay. All right, Sag. Looky here, looky here. So here is you Sagittarians who are grieving over something that you've lost. Now, I don't want to rush you out of this grief. You take your time, Sagittarius. You know better than me when you're going to be ready to turn these cups back over and refill them. But in the meantime, I want you to notice that in the background are 2 full cups and a vine, maybe even a vineyard's worth of delicious, juicy grapes. So while you're looking, very understandably, at what you're missing and what's not working, Sag, I don't want you to lose complete sight and awareness of the 2 things in your life. And Spirit is giving me the number 2. For some of you, it's like your 2 children. For some of you, it's like maybe the relationship went south, but like your job and your family are great. You know what I'm saying? The point is, for all of you, Sag, there's something to look at and cry over, but there's also something that is beautiful and full and still very much nourishing you. So think about where you want to put your attention. You know what I mean? If you focus on what you're lacking, you notice what you're lacking. And I'm not trying to give you just some cheap adage, some cheap cliche. That's what Spirit is really talking about, is like, if you were to look at like this this is so weird, Sag, but this is what they're showing me, is kind of like this gigantic painting, and there's a lot of action going on in this painting, like hundreds of characters, and some parts of it there's like fairies and mermaids and queens and kings and talking animals and like kind of like Narnia, okay? Like, this is so funny. I'm just the messenger, Sag. Kind of like Narnia, okay? So all these amazing places and talking beasts and thrones and like amazing adventures, but then in this one corner of the painting is like a scary, dark, villainous, like violent, like little image. And if you take your magnifying glass and you're like, ooh, look at that, that's so terrible, that's a horrible image, that is so disturbing, you're gonna feel like this. So if you're looking at one aspect of your life and only looking at that one aspect and not picking your head up, see what these guys have in common, it's going to be very hard to look at the things that are working. It's going to be very hard to be like, you know what, I do have some really good stuff in my life. Let me give that some nourishment and some attention. Like I said, conflict is something I feel coming up for you this month. And it feels very much kind of like the same old fight for a lot of you. So maybe you've been fighting with a spouse or like a friend or a family member, and it's like, oh my God, have we not had this discussion 1,000 times? More than 1,000 times. Like, just feels a little bit like an impasse. Stalemate. Like, I don't want to move forward, I don't want to move backward, I don't want to do anything because I don't want to make the wrong decision. And that's not like you, Sagittarius. So I feel like for some of you, this reading is just a reminder of how bright and powerful and like, if you haven't been here before, Sagittarius, I'm sorry. Like, my way is to front load the bullshit. Here's the tough stuff. You know what I mean? So that then we can get to this amazing stuff, all right? You have beautiful cards here. What this is saying to me is that, Sagittarius, some of you, you're a very happy-go-lucky, positive sign. You're always looking toward the future. You're always looking toward how you can expand, how you can grow, what new things, what new adventures lay out there for you. And the quote-unquote dark side of that can be that sometimes you don't want to acknowledge when you're feeling like this. And ultimately, not acknowledging what you feel is what puts you here. So if you need to cry, Sagittarius, cry. And if you need to scream, scream. And if you need to go rent one of those rooms where you can take a baseball bat and smash it up everything, do that. Like, seriously, like, walk out outside and shriek, or shriek into a pillow, or get a punching bag and wail on it, or watch a movie that always makes you cry, and just let go. Let go, Sagittarius. You're so happy-go-lucky and positive that it, like I said, it can be hard for you to acknowledge those parts of yourself that are beastly, quote unquote. You know, like when you get depressed or when you get dejected or disappointed, sometimes you want to bypass that and be like, okay, you know what? It's all for the best. Let's go forward. This is going to be fine, which is a wonderful attitude, Sagittarius, and something that we love about you. I mean, there's a reason you're this positive. You're the archer. You have a true aim, and when you go for it, you get there. Okay? Now, the key word in that phrase, though, is true. If you are truly ready to move on, wonderful. If you are truly not, look at that for a while. This card is strength. Strength is clearly not about muscle. The lion in the strength card represents the animal in ourselves that we want to cage. You know, the things inside of us that feel wild and uncontrollable, like rage, depression, lust, emotions that threaten to, you know, sweep us away, tear us apart like a lion. And strength is about going to those parts of yourselves, going into the dark basement of your spiritual house when you hear a funny sound and turning the lights on. Instead of cowering under your blanket and trying to like pretend until it goes away, go ahead and acknowledge that depression or that fear or that rage, Sagittarius. And be kind to yourself. Give yourself some compassion. Some of you may even decide to get into therapy this month or do something like have like a tarot reading. Something where it's about delving into yourself and looking at those parts of yourself that maybe you don't even see because, you know, you have a little bit of a blind spot, as we all do when it comes to ourselves. The beauty of this is I do see that a lot of you are going to do the work this month. A lot of you are going to bring things up and out into the light so that you can take a new journey, have a new adventure. You're just thinking about it right now. I feel like January, those of you who even do take this on, you may not even start the journey in January, but you may be like, okay, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore, so where do I want to go? And that doesn't necessarily mean geographically, like, oh, I don't want to be in Texas, or I don't want to be in, you know, Virginia, or whatever. I want to be elsewhere. It can be, I don't want to be at this job anymore. I've learned everything I need to know. I've really gained this skill in this craft, and now I'm ready to do something else and really show myself off. Think about it. Take January to give some thought to your skills, your talents, and the adventures you've yet to have that you still really want to have. Because I feel like, I mean, and we're going to do your year ahead reading in a minute, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more cards indicating travel, indicating fun, indicating new growth. This is saying that by the end of January, you will have a clearer head, Sagittarius. Of course, that is if you are willing to look at that stuff, if you're willing to be real with yourself. And some of you, I feel that this is a journey, and it feels a little bittersweet. Like, okay, you know what, that didn't work out, but I'm going to move on. And there's a brighter, better, clearer day ahead. More truth here, more peace of mind here. So even if what you're leaving behind you're really going to miss, the clarity and the peace in your heart is going to be worth it. I mean, you're moving away from this drama. Many of you. Some of you will decide to stick it out and stay and have that little fight and carry that burden a while longer. And there's no judgment here, Sagittarius. Sometimes we have to, you know, keep muddling through and keep splashing around in the mud until we're like, oh my God, it's mud. Okay, I'm out. You know what I mean? Again, I am not making fun. That is not judgment, Sagittarius. We all have different levels of what's acceptable, of what we like, of what we can stand. And you're a kind and philosophical soul, and you like to have fun, and you like to bring light to things. So it can be hard for you to accept defeat or to acknowledge that something is too heavy for you to carry. But here's what I would say, Sagittarius, is that this month, look at everything that you're putting your love and time and energy into, and then be a little bit more choosy. Whittle these 7 cups down to like 2 or 3. Not everything here is worth your time and energy and love and effort, okay? Some of these things you think you want until you get there, and then you're like, eh. So don't scatter your energy, Sagittarius. Pick 2 or 3 things that you want to make happen or to kind of make sense of by the end of January, and you can accomplish that. Resist the urge to scatter your energy into 7 or 8 or 12 different ideas. If you clear your head, you can have some great success. And some of you, I feel you're teaming up with people, and this is a very good thing. This is a positive, harmonious, and for a lot of you, I do feel like it's a trio. You know, you and your 2 friends, or you and your 2 advisors, or like, we're going to put together this magazine, or we're going to put together this project, or this video, or this whatever this is, this team, this business. This is a good team, and this is friends. So whether you're putting something together that is more practical, or whether it's just about like, oh man, you know, like, I mean, look how your reading is bordered. It starts out with this 5 of Cups and your 3 empty cups over here, and it finishes with 3 beautiful new cups. You are stomping up some new grapes with some fun-ass people to refill your cups. So don't be scared, Sagittarius. You will be replenished. You will be revitalized. You will be loved. That's what they're saying. Loved. Love comes in all kinds of different guises. But real love will give you peace of mind and peace of heart. Okay? Anything that is demanding that you continue to feel like this is not what you need, is not authentic. Okay? Spirit is saying some of you, and oh my God, even as they say this, I'm like, oh, Spirit, they're not going to like this, but this is what they have to say, okay? Some of you love and live for the conflict, you know, the drama of it all. Maybe you don't recognize how much you enjoy it, but it might be just the drama of living, like it makes you feel like alive or whatever, you know, to have this relationship or to have this person that you have this, you know, back and forth tug of war kind of thing with. But really the truth is, Sagittarius, is that, you know, you are the sign of truth. You're the sign of the true aim. What is real doesn't need a lot of dressing up. It doesn't need a lot of excuses. It doesn't need a lot of bells and whistles. It rings clear. It shines in any light. Like you shine, Sagittarius. Live your truth this month. Speak and see, especially see your truth for what it is. And then you'll share it naturally. Okay? Acknowledge what you're feeling and be willing to act upon that knowledge once you get it. There's no rush, but I would say be careful not to sit in the same place for too long, because the stagnancy will eventually turn into anxiety, okay? Get moving. Share with someone, whether it's a friend or a therapist or a tarot reader or whoever this is. Delve deep into yourself and let someone else who is gentle and kind and wise help you out if you need that. Okay, Sagittarius? All right. All right. Looks like a big month for you. And honestly, like, yeah, it's a little bit of a toughie. But we're already into January, so I'm sure those of you who are going through that, you're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. So I'm happy to see that Spirit is giving you reassurance about, like, those cups will be refilled. So don't be thinking that you need to keep going back to the same old cup to get a better reaction, okay? Like a better result. Wow. Cheesy crazy. Okay. We weren't ready yet, Sag, so I'm going to shuffle these back in. All right, Spirit, now we want to look at, please, 2018 as a whole. From January to December 2018. What does Sagittarius need to know, Spirit? What do they need to... Wow. All right, first one. Sagittarius, Sun, Sagittarius, Moon, Sagittarius, Rising. What do they need to know? In 2018, the full year, what do they need to know, Spirit? For their highest good. What do they need to know about the effects of the past, what's coming in the future, and what they can do? Woo! Wow. Okay, we're going to keep this guy, Stalker card. Just need a couple more, please, Spirit. Just 2 more for Sagittarius. Okay. 2018. Sagittarius. 2018. Sagittarius. 2018. Okay. All right, Sag. Ha! Stalker. Stalker. Wow. Okay. All right. And this guy, I don't know if you saw this. Wow. This guy like slid right off the deck as I set it down, and I was thinking, gosh, Spirit's trying to get my attention. Like, you're going to want this prescription card. So there we have it. Okay, Sag. Things have become clear to you. This is what Spirit is showing me. Like, this is such a beautiful card, and so you, Sagittarius. Be yourself. Please march forward proudly just as you are. Like that Strength card said, you know, no part of you should you be ashamed of. Especially those parts of you that are like, quote-unquote, uncontrollable, grief, rage, depression, insecurity, okay? Love yourself, bring light and kindness to those parts of yourself that you find distasteful. The devil is not Satan. The devil is darkness, unconsciousness, bad habits, old thoughts, old things like that keep us tied down, that keep us shackled. Addiction, temptation, lust, obsession, anxiety. This is the key, okay? This card is sitting in the position of the key to your whole reading. And the key is to free yourself, to be unashamed, to be fully conscious. So to look at your fears and your doubts and your prejudices and bring them into the light. Explore them. When you make them conscious, they can't control you from below. You know what I'm saying? They're not pulling your strings because you stop and go, oh, hey, is that like a string on my hand? Let me look at that. Oh my God, I didn't even realize that was there. And you pluck off the strings. I have no strings. Okay, I don't want to get sued by Disney. But you know where I'm going with this. Okay, speaking of I have no fucking strings on me, which is your song for January, here you are in the present, the Fool. Take off. Take off, Sagittarius. This is so you. This is the wanderer. This is the eternal optimist and child of the zodiac in the sense of not being fucking embarrassed or afraid to be who you are. The Sun, the Fool, followed by you walking away from anything and everything that is stagnant and unmoving and unnourishing in your life. Things that you have poured a lot of love and time and energy and effort into that have not poured back into you, you are leaving behind the better to grow. The better for that lotus blossom in the figure's hand to grow, grow, grow until it is your fucking throne. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. And what Spirit is also telling me with this, I keep feeling like the word therapy. So for some of you Sagittarians, the level of grief or change or difficulty that you're going through right now, you really would benefit from talking to somebody. Okay? Again, whether this could be a friend, but I do feel like therapy is a good idea. Like, and I'm not talking about, you know, like Netflix therapy or like, you know, retail therapy. I'm talking about talk to a person who can help you out, whether they're a psychologist or a friend or a spiritual teacher. Talk to somebody who is willing to go deep with you and who makes you feel free to be who you are shamelessly. Like somebody who doesn't give you that kind of no judgment. You know what I mean? Here's your Stalker card, again saying choose wisely what you want to focus on this year. If you choose wisely and you seek a teacher, again, whether this is a literal teacher, this is a therapist, this is a spiritual master, you are looking to achieve mastery this year, Sagittarius, and you will achieve it through focus and study. Okay? I'm talking about seriously, like hit the books and study and do your freaking homework, do your research, learn from the masters. Okay? Learn from the masters. This is someone with great intellect and precision. This could be you. You writing a book, Sagittarius? You a blogger? You some kind of like thinking about making your words and your views more public? If you learn from the masters, if you choose wisely, well, look at you. Sorry, Sag. You got this, Sag, if you want it. consult somebody who understands and knows the hierarchy and knows the channels that you need to move through. That's what this Hierophant is all about. You don't go from custodian to CEO. You got to move up, 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 up through the channels and get promoted. And to do that, you really want to be sure. Which one of these cups do you really want to drink from? You're taking this into yourself, Sagittarius, so choose wisely. Growing and getting some mastery this year. It's a big year for you to release what's not working for you anymore, the better to be more of yourself. I love it, Sagittarius. You're just making your truth more known in 2018. And you feel more comfortable in yourself and in your truth. I love it. Love it, love it. Thank you as always for being here, Sagittarius. I really hope this is helpful for you and that it helps you have a better month and even like a more magical year. If you like this video, I hope you will like it and subscribe if you haven't. It really helps move the needle for me and it helps me get the message out. So I appreciate again your time. I love you so much, Sagittarius, and I hope to see you in February. Bye!